our culture's competitive, man.
Right.
It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It don't make sense.
First of all, that vote is fake as That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings.
Cowboy Carter. Beyonce.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones.
There are horrible things that happen every day, whether it be in the industry or not, mentally, emotionally, financially.
50 Cent and Eminem are joining forces, and they are making bold accusations against Jay-Z and Beyoncé. They are accusing the couple of shady business practices, stolen credit, award show manipulation, and a trail of ruined careers. This isn't just talk, it's beginning to seem like a major revelation. 50 Cent claims that Jay-Z is still attempting to block his business ventures even now. Eminem has been warning people for years about the dark side of the music industry, slipping subtle messages into his songs about powerful figures controlling things behind the scenes. But it doesn't stop there. Beyoncé is facing serious allegations too. She's accused of taking songwriting credit from others and allegedly blacklisting women in the industry. Names like Aaliyah, Mia, Mary J., Blige, and Carrie Hilson have surfaced, women who were rising stars until suddenly their careers stalled. On top of that, Jay and Bey's close relationship with Diddy is raising questions once again. While Jay-Z may have avoided a lawsuit filed by a woman known as Jane Doe, the alleged victim now suggests that she was pressured to keep quiet.
When you're not competing for those things anymore, and you start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem was. That's what I went through with Joe.
After suspicious people showed up at her door, which is terrifying. Now, the burning question is whether Jay-Z and Beyoncé are truly the power couple they appear to be, or just experts at managing their image behind closed doors. Have they been on top, stepping over others to stay there? And do 50 Cent and Eminem really have the inside information, exposing a system that's destroyed artists' careers and possibly even lives? For years, Jay and Bey were seen as untouchable, music royalty, and criticizing them meant instant backlash, labeling you a jealous hater. But now, that carefully crafted image is beginning to crack, and leading the charge are 50 Cent and Eminem, pulling back the curtain on the so-called king and queen of the music industry.
Look, Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL has some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like, what is the issue? You start looking at that's not mine. That's theirs. They are, right? But when you look at M, is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like with M, Dre, and myself, like I'm a shady aftermath. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's so much G-Unit Records.
Right.
They forget that I'm M and Dre's artist.
Let's begin with 50 Cent, who isn't holding back. He's calling Jay-Z insecure, jealous, and petty, and this time he has the receipts. In 2023, 50 Cent accused Jay-Z of trying to block him from performing at the Super Bowl using his NFL connections to pull strings. It sounds wild, right? But Jay's attempt backfired because Eminem wasn't having it. He told the NFL, no 50, no Slim Shady. That move alone exposed the lengths Jay was willing to go to in order to keep 50 Cent out of the spotlight. Fast forward to 50's recent interview with Flea and Cameron, where he's throwing more accusations at Jay-Z.
Yeah, this is why I was saying I knew what old boy was doing. Right. With the Super Bowl. Because he was doing like, yeah, go ahead. He was doing some wild because he was saying that to Eminem that the NFL had the issue with me. And I'm like, well, what's the issue? I don't have an issue when I'm becoming a partner in the actual team, but they got an issue with my performance. Right? Makes no sense. You know what I mean?
I was going to get to that later, but since we're here now. And when he says "oh boy" for the audience that knows, I'm talking about Jay-Z. This was discussed before. Jay-Z told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl they had a couple years ago. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just
threatened. Possibly.
Not even threatened. You know, I think it's just when you take the competition from, like, our culture is competitive, man. It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for? What's the goal? Like this even, like, a lot of the even a lot of the competitive stuff, or what we would call it beef, right? It changed. That terminology changed when it's Biggie and Tupac, because we start saying the things that people would say that cause beef in the environment. When before that, they called it battling in our culture. Right. Because that's what it is until it turns into some street shit. So when you're not competing for those things anymore, and you start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem was. That's what I went through with Joe.
According to 50, Jay-Z is still playing dirty behind the scenes, not just in the music industry, but also in business dealings. The shocking part, 50 claims that Jay has already proven everything he needs to, yet he's still allegedly trying to sabotage 50E's deals simply out of spite.
Dre Young, thank you, sir. All the doors that you opened, showed us that we can be rock stars. Seeing you on the Rolling Stone, obviously there's Run DMC with the Leathers and the Aerosmith, but when you came out west, you took it to a whole new level. Some of you don't belong in the category. Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous.
Now, 50 Cent and Eminem are teaming up to expose what they believe is major Grammy rigging. 50 is accusing Jay of using his marriage to Beyoncé as an advantage to win awards. Meanwhile, Eminem has been vocal for years, calling the Grammys a scam, a pay-to-win system. When Beyoncé finally won Album of the Year for Renaissance, not everyone believed it was earned. Fans started speculating that Jay once again pulled strings behind the scenes, especially after he took the stage the previous year to criticize the Recording Academy for snubbing his wife.
A few Grammys, but you feel like you had to sell your soul to get them. And you didn't know if you wanted it for the recognition or the trophies, but then what's the difference? And that Grammys pretty much suck the blood of artists and nominate them, have them come to the shows. And
which they do. They do it every year, yeah. And I'm just tired of seeing it. And for whatever reason, it's like they're always pitching this hint that you might win album.
Here's the twist. Fans weren't buying Jay's speech. It seemed disingenuous. He stood there holding an award while blasting the same people who had given it to him. If the Grammys were so biased, why show up at all? Why not walk away and prove you didn't need their approval instead of begging for it on stage? The whole situation felt off, and it only fueled the whispers. Are the Carters truly climbing the ladder through talent, or are they using blackmail and big money tactics to get ahead?
Same. 50 did not win Best New Artist at the Grammys.
There was nothing bigger than 50.
Nothing bigger, and nobody since maybe like Snoop came out the gate like that. My first album didn't do it. I never saw someone's first album and the wave happen like he had.
For years, insiders have claimed that the Grammys are more about industry politics than actual talent. One of the most vocal critics of this is Eminem, who has long stated that the Grammys are nothing but a scam. He even promised never to attend the ceremony again, and he meant it. But it's not just about his losses. Eminem has stated that if another artist were to release a better album, he would be okay with it. What really frustrates him, however, is how the Grammys use his name to boost their ratings. They hype him up, making it seem like he has a real shot at winning just to attract viewers. Then, when the time comes, he's excluded as though he was never in the running. To him, it's all smoke and mirrors. When asked if he'd return if he joined the voting committee, Eminem's response was clear: it wouldn't make any difference because, in his view, the entire process is rigged and the votes don't matter.
But consider, joining a board and maybe you have a vote in it.
First of all, that vote is fake. That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings. This got critical acclaim, but it sold 2 records. Like, it ain't about always what you sell. I get that, Vanilla Ice, I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there comes a point where when an overwhelming something comes along that has this wave and impact on music, and you give it to Lada Dottie. Who? Lada Dottie. It's only Lada Dottie.
50 Cent is fully backing Eminem's claims, adding his own criticisms. He doesn't just call the Grammys rigged. He also alleges that Jay-Z's wins are not about talent. According to 50, Jay-Z's success comes mainly from his marriage to Beyoncé. He believes the Recording Academy knows exactly what they're doing. As long as Jay and Beyoncé show up, ratings spike, and the event goes viral. So, the strategy is simple: keep nominating them, keep awarding them, because their presence guarantees the spotlight.
Started to receive the 16, 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce. Right? And you go, prior to that, 1.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see the kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing. Right. They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them the things they would. Later, to me, I didn't care about trophies. I said, I'll get the
50 wasn't done, though. On his recent appearance on the Flagrant podcast, he doubled down on his stance. He argued that Jay-Z's entire empire and all his Grammy trophies aren't the result of raw talent, but rather the business and fame his marriage to Beyoncé brings. 50 even suggested that their relationship might be more of a contract, with both parties sticking together for the image, deals, and power it brings.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
This guy. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting
Grammys. He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
He has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he's been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
He was one. After that, he got he's like drinking. His pictures with him like it's the cup.
50 Cent also suggested that Jay-Z's marriage to Beyoncé seemed more like a strategic move for fame and business, almost as if it was a calculated deal.
Marriage.
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no longer viewed as like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got. Oh, wow. So that's the deal.
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
But it's not just 50 Cent who's claiming that Jay plays dirty to stay on top. Numerous insiders have whispered that both Jay and Beyoncé have actively blocked other artists from rising to ensure that no one overshadows them, keeping themselves at the top. And then there's the dark story of Beyoncé's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron, who passed away from pneumonia. Before his death, he went public with claims that he had proof of how Jay and Beyoncé had destroyed careers, ruined lives, and crushed rising stars to solidify their own dominance.
Beyoncé and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Hey, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are.
The timing of his death raised many questions, with some people suspecting foul play. This brings us to Jaguar Wright, a former background singer for Jay-Z, who has become one of his fiercest critics. Jaguar has been outspoken, claiming that people close to Jay, like Harlem legend Big L, either mysteriously lost their lives or had their careers disappear at the same time Jay's was rising. Let's pause and talk about Big L for a moment.
The first time I ever saw Jay-Z or even heard him spit a rhyme was at an MC battle, street battle in New York. But he didn't show up as Jay-Z. He didn't show up as the hottest rapper on the street. He showed up as that was with Big L.
Rest
For
in
those
peace.
of you,
Rest in peace, Big L.
rest in peace, Big L.
Big L was one of the most talented lyricists in Harlem and is credited with helping to put Jay-Z on the map. But after Big L was tragically gunned down in 1999 in a drive-by shooting, his case went unsolved. Some, like Jaguar Wright, believe that Jay-Z might have had something to do with it. This is the level of suspicion surrounding Jay-Z now. Let's shift gears to another major figure, DMX. DMX, one of the only rappers besides 50 Cent who had the guts to openly challenge Jay-Z, always claimed Jay was bitter and jealous. When Jay-Z became the president of Def Jam in 2004, things began to get messy. DMX had been carrying Def Jam with 5 consecutive #1 albums between 1998 and 2003. But when it was time for him to drop his 6th album, Year of the Dog, things took a different turn in 2005. DMX dropped a bombshell with his track, The Industry, where he exposed the shady practices going on behind closed doors. The track stirred up controversy, especially after DMX claimed Jay-Z deliberately held back his own music to clear the stage for Jay's return. Shockingly, much of what DMX revealed about the industry is still happening today. Even Irv Gotti, a key figure deeply involved in the industry, backed up DMX's claims, saying that Jay-Z had a certain level of jealousy toward DMX. Irv even claimed that Jay-Z, alongside his mentor Lear Cohen, would often laugh at DMX, thinking he would never succeed. But DMX proved them wrong, and it wasn't long before Jay-Z's name kept coming up, not only with DMX, but also with Beanie Sigel.
I was like, we gotta sign DMX, and they laughed at me. I remember when I left the office, Tina Davis said, she knew I wanted to sign DMX. She said, DMX don't sell, your ass is fired. Jay and Dame did not believe in DMX. Jay would be like, you think he's better than me? And I'd be like, he's nice just like you. I said, if you look in the hood, there's less of like you and more like, you remember at the beginning of the video, it's the heartbeats. DMX, live at the tumble. I don't even remember the tumble. Funk Massacres, and then I put that sound bite. Let's take it back to the streets, mother.
Beanie Sigel shared his experiences in the industry, explaining how it often felt like someone was pulling the strings to hold him back. Beanie described how Jay-Z would purposely release his own projects around the same time as Beanie's, ensuring that Beanie's spotlight was drowned out. It was almost as if Beanie was allowed to rise only so far, but no further. While Beanie acknowledged his own mistakes, particularly with his legal troubles, he was clear that Jay-Z's actions were far from accidental. According to Beanie, Jay's every move was calculated, designed to limit others while boosting his own status. But the drama doesn't stop there. The situation gets even more complex when we look at Beyoncé's role. While many still believe Beyoncé is merely Jay-Z's puppet, that theory doesn't quite hold up. Beyoncé has been by Jay's side for years, which strongly suggests she is not only a part of the strategy, but is also actively involved in running the game. Allegedly, they've been working together to eliminate anyone they perceive as a threat. When Beyoncé left Destiny's Child and grew closer to Jay-Z, something strange seemed to happen. Jay allegedly took producer Rich Harrison away from rising star Amory, who was becoming a serious competitor. Amory's hit One Thing had a similar vibe to Beyoncé's Crazy in Love, and some fans even speculated that Beyoncé had copied the formula after Rich Harrison left Amory. Then came the public fallout with singer Carrie Hilson. Their feud spiraled out of control, with rumors circulating that Carrie's producers tricked her into recording a diss track aimed at Beyoncé. At first, Carrie denied it, but things escalated when she was asked to hold a magazine featuring Beyoncé and Jay-Z on the cover. She refused, and the Beehive Beyoncé's fan base went into a frenzy, leading to intense backlash. Some claim Beyoncé had orchestrated the entire incident, with insiders in Carrie's camp setting her up to fail. Years later, Carrie somewhat confirmed these allegations in a 2020 interview, admitting she was pressured into making the diss track and that the threats she received afterward were not just rumors. She revealed that the whole situation was more about career sabotage than a simple fallout. We also can't forget about Kelis, who accused Beyoncé of stealing her hit Milkshake. The problem? Beyoncé sampled Kelis' song without giving her any credit. What made this situation worse was that Kelis found out about the sample the same way everyone else did, through social media. She was furious and expressed her disappointment, stating, Nothing is ever as it seems in this business. Keyless made it clear that this wasn't just about music, it was about respect. As Black female artists, there aren't many of them in the industry, and Keyless felt that a simple call could have resolved things. But instead of offering an apology or taking responsibility, Beyoncé quietly removed the sample without any acknowledgement. No public statement, no apology, just silence. Then there's Mia, another name you don't hear much about, but her story raises eyebrows. Rumor has it that Mia was blackballed after allegedly rejecting Jay-Z's advances. In interviews, Mia has been outspoken about how powerful people in the industry often use their status to pressure young artists into uncomfortable situations. When Mia refused Jay-Z, it reportedly came with a price. She hinted that her refusal led to her reputation being dragged through the mud and her career being sidelined. As we reflect on these accounts, the question remains, are Jay-Z and Beyoncé just protecting their empire, or are they secretly sabotaging the competition behind closed doors? This list of incidents is by no means complete, so if you think there's someone we missed, drop their name in the comments below. What do you think about all these claims? Are Jay-Z and Beyoncé truly untouchable, or are they just masters at cleaning up their messes? If you want to hear more stories that expose the underbelly of the music industry, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video.